Hey, Gayle.
Oh,
what are you doing?
I told you I watch the neighbors. I mean, I have to be in my house all the time, so I'm constantly watching the neighbors. They're doing a gin rummy game over there again. I'm always yelling, play that 8 of diamonds for God's sakes. Play that 8 of diamonds. I'll put this down. I'll watch them later.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the Voice of the Veteran Show. I'm Gayle Ochiltree, Army Airborne Paratrooper veteran, and that guy,
Nicholas Cormier III.
That's right. There he is.
Of course.
That's right. And MC Franklin in the back, he's the producer. That's right. He's the one that runs it. There he is. There he is right there. And MC is one of those, you can tell, he's one of those tinfoil hat basement dweller guys. I mean, he's back there eating Cheetos. He's got Cheetos dust in his eyes. I mean, what's going on? He cut my mic. What, are you kidding me? Now we know who's in control. I'm telling you, those are my First Amendment rights. I'm feeling violated. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling violated. Let me out of here. I'm headed to the basement to snap him like a scarecrow. MC, I tell you, I just can't believe it. You know how they say in the Bible, blessed are the Greek. I mean, blessed are the meek. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And I'm coming for you, you mic cutter offer. That producer, he has absolutely no honor. I mean, make you laugh, MC? Okay, good. Well.
Okay. Let's put the gas pedal on this show and let's floor it and move forward. And this is only the intro.
I know. I'm sorry about that, Nicholas. I kind of like killed Hamlet in the first act before the curtain even went up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this censorship, I just can't stand it. The man's cutting off my mic. He's a communist. Oh, I mean, he's a mic cutter offer. I'm telling you, a communist who complains about his First Amendment rights and he's cutting off people's mics. What am I going to do with this producer?
To be or not to be.
That's right.
Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles and oppose them. I haven't said a thing. He's telling me to get back on subject.
That's right.
I don't even know what the subject is at this point.
Yeah, well, I mean, I want to make this abundantly clear that it's about getting your mics cut. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even know. I know his mama taught him better. So, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Now, I want you to know that there's a question. I have a question right here. I always have a card when I have a question, so I remember exactly what it was I was asked. This is from a viewer in Tennessee, and his name is Eric Cooper. And, MC and I were talking one day. Eric was asking me about how we started this show, and MC and I were talking one day. And I know I give him a lot of problems and everything, but he asked me, what would be a good show, Gayle, to do about a library, about VA subject matter, where veterans could just go and have a list of topics and they could click on different things they'd want to know about. What do you think about a show like that? And I've known MC for about like 27 years or something. So all this silliness that I'm, talking about and cutting my mic, he probably would, but he's my good friend. So I let him push me around. Oh, I mean, tell me what, he's the producer, for God's sakes. So anyway, Eric Cooper, he says, why did you do the show now? What was the point of doing it now? And I said, well, there's always been a need for a show like this. But the podcast kind of bridged the gap between Nicholas and I actually being at the VA and talking and helping veterans, physically being there, because we're not going to be there with COVID and the hospital and all that kind of stuff right now. So this was a great way to continue to communicate with veterans about firsthand experience and to help them out with things like that. And this show is not all about me. It's actually all about Nicholas, So, just so you know, actually, it's about veterans and things that they might need. So, we're busy searching for money for equipment and gas and things that we do. And I just want to thank Eric for asking that, because it gave me a little time to really think about the purpose of the show and what we want to address on the show. So, one of the things that I would like to address, Nicholas, is I want to talk a little bit about good VA employees and bad VA employees.
Wait a minute. I thought we didn't want to bash the VA, Gayle. On this show, this is an informational show.
Well, yeah, but I'm going to give you some good informational type stuff about VA employees.
All right. Be careful.
All right, well, I am. So, if you have ever run into one of those VA employees, I mean, when you walk into the front desk and, you check in for an appointment and you say your name and you give them your last four, right? Okay, well, so you say, oh, I just can't, and the VA employee says, oh, I can't just check in right now. I'm headed out to have a smoke.
I imagine that doesn't go over well with you at all, Gayle.
No, it does not.
You know what? I've heard your policy on issues like this many times because Gayle guides me along the way with a lot of things. And I quote, Gayle says, when a VA employee tells you no, or that something cannot be done, just think in your head, I'm just talking to the wrong person. Ask someone else.
That's right. Yes. And you will get what you need from a non-smoking VA employee. That's what I'm saying,
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I told you, and I told the NG is what we call them.
What you call me, Gayle?
Yeah, well,
you better tell the audience what an NG is. NG means new guy.
Well, that's true. And in the military, we call them FNGs. So you can just imagine what that means, new guy. So years ago, I told the FNG, I mean, this guy was an FNG at the VA, right? And so I said, look, buddy, the next time that a combat veteran walks up to your check-in station, unless confetti falls, you have not done your job. So, that's what I say.
Oh, you on a roll today, Gayle?
I am, because we need to know that there are all kinds of VA employees, all kinds of people that we run into, and vets shouldn't assume that all VA employees are crappy, because that's just not true. There's a lot of good VA employees, and vets just need to can't assume that all VA employees are just there for them to fight with. That's not the case. There, on occasion, we have people who, just start listening to us, and that would piss anybody off, wouldn't you think?
Actually, it pisses off civilians too.
Yeah.
But it's this kind of stuff that probably does happen at Kaiser or Valley Presbyterian, don't you think?
Well, yeah, I think. But let me take this from kind of a comedy point of view. Here's my survival tip for veterans regarding VA employees. Now, years ago, I was actually a VA employee. I worked in the credentialing and privileging office for the doctors, and that was during just right after the 1994 earthquake. And upon arrival at the VA, employees are shown a video about how to deal with difficult people.
Seriously?
Yeah. Yes. And yes, and I think the same video should be shown to veterans about difficult employees, is what I'm saying, And look here, there's no class at the VA to to teach veterans about the structure of the VA. That's why we're doing the show. And so we don't know what person or office to contact a lot of times, you know?
Yeah. Didn't there used to be an orientation workshop for veterans, kind of like a meeting thing for newly arriving first-time veterans at the VA?
Yes, and it was great too. We got a lot of great info. We met VA employees, and they gave us a VA keychain and gun locks.
Gun locks?
Yeah, they did gun locks. So let me see. I think MC has a picture of me with a gun that I had when I was a 6-year-old. There it is. You see, there's my little gun. I never had a gun lock for that one. But later, when I grew up, it was nice to have a gun lock because the next picture shows you why somebody ought to have a gun lock at the VA.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So you see, this is what veterans have to have gun locks. It's just the way it is. So anyway, that's cool. That's enough of that picture. But, veterans are happy to get gun locks. They like to shoot. I love to shoot. And I was at this meeting, right, where they gave out these gun locks. And the vets are all looking around because, they gave each and every one of us just one gun lock, and one of the vets said, "Oh, ma'am, could I please have 5 gun locks?" And I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking, okay,
well, you think that covered it? Well, back to good VA employees, right? I guess that in the military we see rank on uniforms, and we see the rank on the uniform, and that kind of tells us who we're speaking to. And that's not necessarily the case at the VA. So it is empowering to know how the system actually works.
I know it is. It has been for me. And exactly right. And the guy sitting next to me mumbles under his breath, "Are they even joking? I'm going to need an entire case of gun locks," And, yeah. And then the guy next to him, he goes, "And what is this all about? Why do they call us our veterans?" I said, "I don't call them our VA employees, Yeah. I mean, so it's always something funny we laugh at.
So run it down for me, Gayle. You tell me about your tips on how to spot a good VA employee from the other ones, I guess.
Okay, well, here it goes. In my opinion, it's only...
It's true. It is always just a personal opinion.
It's true. Yes, indeed it is. And in my opinion, and rarely is there any doubt whatsoever what my opinion is.
And that's the double truth root. Your words have never been spoken.
Yeah.
You're always clear as a bell, right?
That's right. Well, I even have a little black book where I rate those employees, I give them a 1 through 8 rating or whatever. No, and I see it like this. There are 3 kinds of VA employees. Okay. Number 1, a VA employee who isn't dedicated to serving veterans. Now, this VA, is just a job to me. And I'll find something else closer to home where there isn't as much traffic. And I'll never really even know any veterans. I never have known any veterans. And they are just a pain in the ass. They are the ones that need to wear that I care pin because there's no true way to know that they do even care. So those do exist.
Yeah.
But number two VA employee are students. Now, it's important to know this because the VA is a teaching hospital. And it's important to know right up front that your doctor could be a student doctor. They are a doctor. They've graduated from medical school. They are a doctor, but they are there a lot of the times just taking notes for the attending physician who is in every clinic. There's an attending physician. So vets should know that they can always speak to an attending if they feel that they're want a little more in-depth information from someone who's a regular VA employee, because it's important for us to know what opinions are going into our records for service connection claims and everything else. And a student's not going to know that the first time around. So there's that.
So Gayle, if a vet needs to know something, it's okay to ask politely. I see that you're wearing a VA badge. Are you the person in charge of letting vets know where the blood lab is and smile? No threatening looks, right?
Nope.
And you don't ask them, are you one of the good VA employees or are you one of them numbnuts?
No, don't do that.
That would not be mindful.
No, and it would just be rude in general. So use your brain. Okay. Number 3.
I've never seen that happen, Gayle.
That's right. Don't do it. You were numbnuts? No.
No. Well, I can't go into what happened last night.
That's right. That's exactly right. Don't do it. Okay, number 3 employee is the good VA employee. Now, when you hear a VA employee talking to a new VA employee saying the following, this is the kind of good VA employee, and you want to back them up, because these are people that you want to seek out and find this kind of employee. When you hear something like, what was even on your mind? Or, do you even know where you are? This is the VA. Those people are veterans, and they are why you have a job. That is a good VA employee.
Oh, yeah. So basically, in military speak, you have the casual company employees, and then you have the permanent party employees.
That's correct.
You all know what permanent party is.
That is exactly right. You've got it. The employees that care about and understand the hearts of veterans. Those are the good VA employees, and they're all over the place. We have a lot of them. Now, you have told me your firsthand experience about VA executives who have served you food and spent time chatting with the homeless troops, the vets, and treating them like, well, like part of the VA community. And those very executives are in charge of our hospital right now. And they are veterans themselves, and they are role modeling proper behavior to all the rest of us. And being in charge of this little city, which is VA West Los Angeles, it's one of the largest VAs in the system. And it's really tough because there's a lot more going on here than just putting directors in charge of a hospital. There's lease agreements and on and on and on, and master plan and all kinds of things going on that people would never, ever expect to be going on in a hospital setting. So it's important that we back them up.
So knowing who you are talking about is always a good policy anywhere we go. And of course, I want to thank, those that serve me. I think leadership that serves the troops is one of the greatest way to show and instill esprit de corps. So I want to send a shout out.
You were talking about them before. You can say their names if you want to. But
well, Dr. Braverman and
right.
and Robert McKendrick Mack, absolutely. Thank you.
Top-notch people, and I'm just really happy that they're here right now. I see a lot of positive things going on with their leadership. So thank you to them.
Absolutely.
All right. Spirit Mountain. Again. Now, can't help myself because it's a good policy when I go zooming at Spirit Mountain retreat. Heck, well, look at this, Nicholas. Last Tuesday, as a matter of fact, I went to 3 Zooms in one day at Spirit Mountain. One of them, number one, was a thing called Better Together, right? And number 2 was loving kindness meditation.
Why would you need that?
I put on my sunglasses and watch TV while everybody's meditating, but don't let anybody know that. I just, no, that's not entirely true. But, I'm telling you, learning to meditate is a skill. And I know you know that as well, because we've been through a few things like that together. And number 3 that day was a women's veterans thing. It was really nice. And actually, a place that I've never been to, Spirit Mountain. It's up in Idlewild, California, but I've only been there via Zoom. Now, I know other veterans prior to the pandemic, everything before or after the pandemic, they've been up there and invited to a retreat for women veterans. I don't know, a weekend, 3-day thing, whatever it is. And they speak very, very highly of it. So.
And so do you, Gayle. I know how much Spirit Mountain means to you. I love that. I love that. You know what? I'm gonna have to look them up, because I know they're in Idlewild, California. Yeah. And I honestly don't even know where Idlewild, California is. I see a link. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna include that in the chat box. And
I just put it up there.
Okay, we're gonna list in the chat box www.spiritmountainretreat.org.
That's right. And, and the next day, even on Wednesday, I went to a Spirit Mountain book club, I mean, seriously, even the next day I'm going, oh, it's Wednesday. It's time for the book club, and it's just very calming, nothing to do, nowhere to go, just kind of follow your breath. I mean, I sleep so peacefully after all this silliness.
Is this kind of like a cult group, Gayle? I mean, I'm joking. I'm joking. It all sounds mindful, responsible, and balanced, which I'm obviously interested in. My point, I guess, my question is, how do you fit into a group like that?
Seamlessly. You're so not even close. It's part of the VA authorized okie dokie for veterans groups. And Callie White actually used to be a VA employee. I think it was, like the program manager for a women's health clinic. And so we have a very skilled individual who knows a lot about stuff, and she speaks veteran fluently. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the director of Spirit Mountain is Mary Morse, and and she was an Air Force wife back when, and between the two of them, it's a 1-2 punch of wiseness training. Actually, wise ass training, whatever, and so
do these people ever serve Kool-Aid, Gayle? Are you moving to Guyana or another country or anything like that?
Not even a little bit.
I'm just asking.
Actually, I don't want to pitch it too much, because I fully enjoy having all this, wisdom to myself, so we have fun learning new skills, and it's not all about talking about trauma. It's actually about learning resiliency skills, so that you don't bump out of your happy zone. There's an area you want to maintain of not going clear out here and way down low, and all of that.
That makes sense to a veteran. I mean, that's actually absolutely beneficial to me as a veteran, and I know that there's organizations like Spirit Mountain that do a very good job of helping veterans with that. So very cool.
Well, one last thing about Spirit Mountain to zero in on what you're saying is that, when military people first arrive at a new location and they drive all around the place to get a handle on the area, drive around in all kinds of directions and everything, and the surrounding roads and whatnot. Well, one weekend, my husband and I up near Fort Devens, and we're driving all around. And we came across this place that had a whole bunch of little cabins where writers could go and have a quiet, peaceful place to write. And then they'd share their work in the evenings and stuff like that. Well, that was in Petersham, Massachusetts. And I always remembered that place, and I really like
that
it.
sounds really nice, Gayle. What a quiet time to write. And I know you are quite the writer. You know, I know we both schedule our writing time for this show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely necessary. And well, I see Spirit Mountain as being that kind of place that supports a peaceful workplace where, every time I contact Spirit Mountain, I feel like I'm being provided with a menu of anxiety reducing options. Here's the most recent. I'm going to put this in the chat box, but it's a little thing where you can tap the bird and hear its song. I mean, it's just the coolest thing ever. I'm going to do that right now. Hang on, just give me 1 second here, and I'll cut and paste this in because this is a really good one. I absolutely love this, and I felt goofy just sitting there, it was like having a little chat with the birds.
It's super cool. I want to send that to my mother. You just reminded me to send that to my mother. My mother's gonna love that.
There you go. I don't know who wouldn't. My mom would love that. Absolutely. So anyway, so there's that thing about the birds, and let's move on to something really cool. All right. We have a new VA secretary. Okay. Now, the Veterans Administration announced new administrators, and I really want to talk about this and that, DAT,
Well, what's the DAT? What do you mean by that?
Well, DAT is the entire point.
That be that, I guess?
Yeah. Who's that guy in charge?
I looked at the new VA sex picture and I said, who is that?
That's the guy. He's the acting VA secretary.
Is that true?
That is true. The new VA secretary, his name is Dat P. Tran.
That's amazing.
Yes, that's very good.
Welcome to that.
That's it. I wish that I can't even keep this up. I wish that you have much success, and that we appreciate your leadership. So that be that. I think I made it through. Welcome, Acting Secretary Dat P. Tran. We look forward to your leadership.
Welcome to that.
Who's on first? Okay.
So on the quick, we have a COVID update. Gayle, when do you get your second vaccine?
Wednesday, the 3rd of February, 8 a.m., Building 401, VA West Los Angeles. I got my first shot in the left arm, and now I'm going to get my second shot, but I'm going to have it in the right arm. I don't know why. They were so close together, one here and one there, balanced. So, COVID update. The VA West Los Angeles continues to get positive compliments from veterans about the quality of the vaccine team response. And I want to add that I was talking to a veteran friend of mine who is a nurse. She's not a VA employee, but she is an RN friend of mine, and she lives in Reno, Nevada. Now, she didn't say to me, we're friends just chatting. And she did not say to me, oh, the VA, they're doing okay. Nope, she didn't say that at all. She said to me, Gayle, I want to tell you how impressed I am with the VA vaccine procedure up here in Reno. They really have it together, quote, really have it together, even the parking. I was amazed. That's what she said to me. So VA West LA isn't the only one. That's but that's 2 of them now. I'm happy to hear that. So congratulations to the Sierra Nevada healthcare system in Reno, Nevada. That's VISN 21, by the way. And veterans are reporting not average, but superior work at that VA hospital. You know what? it feels like we're finally leaders again, at quality VA care. That's what's going on. So
Yeah, this information is like directly from the VA with no changes to the information. So the VA continues to follow our phased plan to provide COVID-19 vaccines as quickly and safely as we can. As of January 25th, 2021, we provided vaccines to 382,168 of our most vulnerable veterans, 226,606 of our healthcare personnel who provide care to veterans. Okay, we're going to list in the chat box www.va.gov/health-care/COVID-19-vaccine/. It should show up in your chat. And then we're going to do a quick note on antibody testing for coronavirus.
Okay, I'm putting that in the chat box right now. Done. Okay, so a quick note on antibody testing. Now, you and I do a lot of phone calls and checking on this information and stuff, and I know you've done a lot of that recently too, and it's good for us to call these numbers so people don't call it up and just get nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
That's no good. We don't want to send anybody on a goose chase. So antibody testing, or the antibody titer, is a test that detects the presence. I got to read this because I'm not a scientist, so excuse me just 1 second here. So antibody titer is a test that detects the presence and measures the amount of antibodies or antigens in a person's blood. The amount and diversity of antibodies correlates to the strength of the body's immune response. Now, I got a titer test measurement level for the measles just last year, by the way. And I've been nosing around about how to get a titer test at the VA for the corona vaccine because I want to know that it's working. You know what I mean? And, so I asked about it, and the immediate answer was no. However, as you know, I never listen to no. And so I just ask the question in a different way, and I usually get a better response, as you know.
Yes, I do.
It's kind of like fishing. You just kind of want to change up the bait and see what they'll bite on,
Absolutely. Well, Gayle, it reminds me of what I have to do every time. If there's the wrong person on the phone, I know to hang up and call back until the right person's on the phone.
That is,
you know what I mean? You learn that when you grow up in my community. This is very helpful information.
Okay. So, all right, in that case, listen and learn, young Jedi Knight. I'm telling you, number one question. Here we go. Can a veteran get an antibody test for COVID? Answer: no, it's not in the budget.
Don't hear no.
That's right. That's good. There you go. That's good. So, question 2, can veterans get a titer test for corona at the VA? Answer: not sure. Let me check. Number 3, I'm interested in antigen testing for the current virus. Could you set that up for me? I recently had a test for the measles. Answer: I think maybe we could work that out.
Okay, I get it. So you show, you show knowledge. You show your knowledge about the request.
That's right, exactly. Number 4, I'm service connected for PTSD. I'm feeling anxietal about the vaccine being effective. Is there some kind of test for that? Answer: sure, come on in. We'll take care of that right away. Now, who knows how they're going to take care of it, but you know what I mean.
The service connection issues usually get addressed, right? Yeah, I'm a service-connected veteran, so I get it.
That's right. Now, the bottom line is that if the VA doesn't have these tests, you do have another option that's, not expensive at all. And you can get an antibody test through LabCorp that does that test for $42. I'm going to put that up in the chat.
Yeah.
So let's give me just 1 second to do that, because that's an important one right there.
Thank you very much. And Gayle actually found this information. I asked Gayle about it because I'm interested in the antibody test, and Gayle found this information and shot it out to me right away. And now we're sharing it with everybody. So
yeah,
thank you so much, Gayle.
Cut and paste that sucker right in there right now, and we'll be on down the road.
Antibody testing.
Yeah. And this is LabCorp. This is what I'm sending on the chat right now. That's LabCorp.
$42.
$42, you know, and I said, well, that's worth it. So I know that they give you a booster. Might have been interesting if I had had that done in between, just to see what the various levels are and what it was the next time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but I'm just saying, I want to make sure that I'm getting
anything we can do to remove the anxiety.
Yeah, you're gonna go with me on Wednesday, because I'm just like, oh my God, another shot.
I'm going. I'll be there. I'm gonna be at the VA anyway that day. I'll be there. I got
you. Well, you could text me and say, I'm around the corner. You don't have to come and hold my hand or some silliness.
No, I think actually I'm gonna be you'll be at 401, I'll be at 402. So we'll be right next to each other anyway. So
I'm sitting here now going through what clinic you're going to in my head. Let's see, what's in 402?
It might be dental, but either way, I'm not too far away.
I'm just giving you a hard time. All right. I've got a new thing to bring up here. It's about occupational therapy. I got a card. So here we go. Occupational therapy. I have hand pain, a lot of hand pain. So it's awful. And I have a wonderful occupational therapist. Her name is Terry Burgess. And Terry's a wonderful person. She assigns me all these specific hand joint glide exercises and stuff that I try to do. But I never routinely get into a pattern of doing these exercises. You'd think I'd do it while I was sitting there watching TV. But no, I'm a bad patient. But she reminds me how do you start a new routine? I'm gonna have to ask them about Spirit Mountain. Maybe they got some clues for me up there about how to start a routine. And it's something I want to do. I routinely eat the wrong food, so I can routinely do other things correctly, but whatever. So I found a way to trick my brain, okay, to do exercises. And I know a lot of veterans that are this way. So what I do is I just watch the White House press conference. And you say, well, how does that have anything to do with occupational therapy exercises? Well, I'm going to tell you right now. They have put something new on those press conferences that is helping my hands. And that is the little square up in the corner for the sign language person. And what I do is I sit there and I copy those hand movements, and I twist my arms and my hands, and I just copy them, and I get the most wonderful exercise on my hands. And goodness knows that crap's on the TV every single day. So I'm doing a lot of sign languaging and stuff and following it along. So that helps me. So that's tip number one. And it makes me smile. It's just funny. So I was watching. These sign language things are so visually descriptive. For instance, they kept talking about the vaccine over and over and over, right? And so the sign language for vaccine is that's what it is.
Is that really it?
Yes, vaccine. So here's another one. I said, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. So I'm there doing this stuff and moving around and getting hand exercise, which is very different from us going bicycling. It's specific to our, hand joints and finger joints and stuff like that. So there's another one too. I mean, visually, if you have this, which are horns, right? And then you make the rest of the animal, and at the other end, it goes like this. So that's bull out the other end. So that's BS, right? I don't want to say it. So, that's very visual,
That's extraordinarily visual, Gayle.
That's right.
One more time. How do I do it?
So horns, and then make your, here, I'll move back. So here's the horns, and here's the cow, and here's the rear end. So bull. Okay, that's the way that goes, okay? I love this, and I'm getting exercise because I'm doing this and I'm doing this with my hands. You know what I'm saying? It works. It works, bull. That's right. That's how that is. So here's the second one. Now I found yet another way of getting exercise in. Totally different thing. The second activity is handling and twisting a Rubik's Cube.
I remember you. I remember you got like a set of different. You even have the pyramid Rubik's Cube. How did you get the pyramid Rubik's Cube?
I always overdo it. I always do it. Yeah. So I couldn't buy one. I had to buy 4.
Rubik's Cube.
That's right. So I get my exercise in while twisting and turning. I could be doing a Rubik's Cube, twisting it while I'm waiting for my vaccine. My vaccine.
Do you think, Gayle? Do you think they provide that? Like, would the VA provide the Rubik's cubes? I don't know.
They thought of it. Maybe I should mention that to Terry Burgess because seriously, because think about it. You're twisting and turning, manipulating with your hands, and it's calming. You'd think it'd be something Spirit Mountain told me about, but that isn't where I heard about it. That was my own ingenious thinking. But no, I
looked it up. I looked it up when you showed them to me, and they're not that expensive if you don't go high-end Rubik's Cube. They do have them at an inexpensive price, but it would be nice if the VA provided them too.
It's less than $5. Seriously, I got a whole bunch of I got different shapes and sizes. Then I got the little book and I'm learning how to twist it. And I'm on the phone, I'm talking and I'm still twisting. It's engaging in a way that actually gets my hand movement going and stuff, So I was happy about that. Let's talk about, what?
All right.
Your favorite subject. And I'm going to try my level best to keep up with the chat box issues. So I'm going to get one right now.
All right. Subject number 1 on the show today is an intro to C.T.R.S. That's Care Treatment and Rehabilitative Services. We'll be talking more on this subject over the next 3 weeks or a few weeks. And Gayle, you know what, Gayle? I've got a lot of friends who are civilians. And you know what they ask me? That they always go by the West Los Angeles VA, and they always ask me, hey, what are all those tents doing outside and inside the West Los Angeles VA? Have you seen what I'm talking about?
Oh, yes, I have. Oh, yes. I think everybody's seen those tents. And, many of the veteran service organizations donated tents for our fellow veterans. Not everything at the VA is paid for by tax dollars. A lot of it's donations from service organizations who donate tents. I know Howard Hernandez and Kyle and Jerry Orleman, who were service animal experts on our show, they all have donated stuff to the tents. And the executive director of the Wellness Center, Tess Banco, mentioned the availability of refrigeration space on, I think it was episode 2 of Voice of the Veteran.
Yes, Executive Director Banco sure did mention refrigerator space. She mentioned they provided that for the tent. They had just gotten it for the tent camp. That's a great job by the VFWC and Tess Banco. It really struck me when she said that. Thank you to them. Well done. Great job. CTRS, or Care Treatment and Rehabilitative Services, set all of that in motion, working in concert with C.T.R.S. And C.T.R.S. is Community Engagement Reintegration Services. And that's all in a response to the homeless veterans needing to protect themselves from COVID-19 and shelter in place. And that's during the pandemic.
Yeah, that refrigeration space is a huge advantage to them. And the tents are part of a short-term program where veterans receive active case management, 3 meals a day, and the option to shower and other services are designated in designated areas of, VA Greater Los Angeles healthcare system, West LA campus, and also uh, I also hear those vets also receive COVID testing 3 times a week. Is that what you said here? I have a card here that you gave me. Is that right? And is it a nasal swab or is it that new one that they do in the other end from China? That that new one where you bend over and they no.
It's not that suave, and I'm glad it isn't. I think we've gotten enough. They've had enough of that out there.
I'm going to tell you.
But you're right, Gayle. 3 times a week, I believe they're COVID tested, and I think that's still in process. That testing is still going on. I have to verify that part of it. But
Yeah.
C.T.R.S., and I'll repeat it again for the Marines. That's Care Treatment and Rehabilitative Services. It's a pilot initiative that allows homeless veterans with combat trauma, veterans who've had trauma in their lives previously to joining the military, along with those battling substance abuse issues, mental health issues, or a whole host of other issues to engage with mental health and medical care. And this will hopefully lead homeless veterans into transitional or permanent housing.
And it's important for us to let them know that to participate in CTRS, veterans can call 1-877-222-8327. So Nicholas, finish telling them up about CTRS while I drop that number in the chat box. I'll go find it right now.
Thank you, Gayle. And I want to send a shout out to Bob Rubin because he taught me to call that phone number. So I did call that phone number, and I got the VA, and I was able to ask questions like, hey, how do I get my tent set up out on the site there? And I was put on hold. The operator checked it out for me, came back. I had to tell them the VISN, right? They were looking for the VISN because I said, hey, I'm in Greater Los Angeles area. The initial call is to set up for enrollment into the VA system. So then I needed to be directed to where I needed to go. What I was wanting to do was put the tent on site. And so I was guided through the process, and the operator was so diligent in helping me and eventually got me the homeless coordinator at the West Los Angeles VA. And thankfully, because we cover VISNs on this show, I was able to aid in that by directing them to my VISN. And that's thank you, Gayle. And it's a pleasure to be able to learn these things. When we look at the VA network, it's important because by knowing the structure, we can navigate the system. And I learned that firsthand on that phone call. Care Treatment Rehabilitative Services is a low demand, low barrier shelter, and it has room for 100 platform tent sites. So out there on the Great Lawn, there's room for 100 platform tent sites, of which 38 as of last week when Gayle and I were in the CVEB meeting, it was reported there's 38 occupied right now. 350 veterans have gone through that program, and we're going to share, 350 have gone through the program. We're going to share more on it next week on CTRS, and we're going to provide deeper insight into that entire initiative, as well as those tents lined up outside on the sidewalk there outside on San Vicente, the West LA VA, with the American flags posted on it. And, look forward to sharing that with you all next week. What's next, Gayle? Thank you for allowing me to show how much I connect with this and how
I know you do, and we're going to keep doing it because it's important to veterans. So
I appreciate the opportunity.
I told you this show was all about you.
Oh, well, do you know that? There's angels in the outfield. Thank you, Gayle.
There's angels in the outfield. You're doing great, Nicholas. Seriously, keep telling me things. I'm
Well,
telling you, just keep telling me things. And after last week's show, I truly wanted to talk more about, food insecurity. And last week we defined what food insecurity is, and I really wanted to say more about it and what's being done to solve the issue for people, and more on how to get help.
yes.
And I already put some of those things in the chat, but you go ahead.
Yes. Thank you, Gayle. Let's do what we do on this show, and that's give people information. So I'm going to talk while Gayle puts in the info in the chat box. And there's a three-pronged action from a recent executive order, which would specifically target the 12 million children who are also suffering from food scarcity.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to list that in the chat box. Los Angeles Regional Food Bank, which is pantry locator at lafoodbank.org, or you can call 323-234-3030. We're also going to list in the chat box for you CalFresh at getcalfresh.org, or you can call 866-613-3777. Now, there's WIC also for moms and babies. Now, for WIC, you're going to call 888-WIC, W-I-C, WORKS, W-O-R-K-S, which is 888-942-9675. And for seniors, this hurts me like Gayle. There's I don't like doing that. I don't like doing that.
I'm busy with the chat box, so he takes a shot.
And I had to take it just because of the Rubik's Cube. But
man, I'm going to go back and get some more information here. So talk slow, for God's sake.
All right. 800-800-510-2020. And that's for meals from LA County or the city of Los Angeles.
Okay, I'm back.
All right.
Oh, man, I can't believe you. I tell you, take a shot. Okay, so I can see that there are even more great links here to be put in the chat box. I'm working on it, but
there's help out there, though, Gayle. There's help out there being focused on low-income children, because the losses that those children are experiencing during the pandemic. And it's
true.
important. Yeah, it's important to address. It's not just a veteran priority. It's also an American priority.
That's right. It is. It's a priority for all of us. I mean, it's pretty shocking to see the food lines, on TV or even at the VA. And, it's amazing. And it's good to see that there is help out there. And, we want people to know where to get that help. So,
Sure. I'm sure the donuts might fill you up and everything, but you know what I'm saying? But the ability to purchase better quality food is ultimately the goal.
Right.
And recently, the U.S. Department of Agriculture has expanded those measures in 3 key food assistance programs. And so there's the Pandemic Electronic Benefits Transfer, that's PEBT. And we're putting that in the chat also for you. And that's www.cdss.gov/HOME/PANDEMIC-EBT.
MICKEY. What the heck?
Yes, Alpha Bravo. Delta. Foxtrot, Golf.
That's it.
SNAP is a supplemental nutrition assistance program. And I'm not even going to run through that one, but essentially, okay, I can't help myself. www.fns.usda.gov/supplemental-nutrition-assistance-program.
There you go. It's in the chat. All of those are in the chat.
Thank you, Gayle. Thrifty Food Plan also. And that's also, it's in the chat. So I'm going to skip over that, and we're going to go to the Department of Agriculture. It's taking immediate steps to expand the ability of the hardest hit families to enroll and claim food benefits. The Department of Agriculture is taking immediate steps to expand the ability of the hardest hit families to enroll and claim food benefits. SNAP provides relief assistance and to the lowest income households. The benefits have been increased by 15% during the pandemic. So an estimated 12 million additional people would receive them. The USDA will revise its thrifty food plan that helps calculate SNAP benefits by updating it to reflect the current cost of nutritious food. Mm-hmm. The American Rescue Plan provides additional emergency food and nutrition assistance also for tens of millions of children and families to address this crisis. For families who literally can't wait another day.
They can't. And that's why we want to continue to add more and more food insecurity things next week as we collect and, and actually visit local food pantries and things like that.
Yeah. Gayle, we look like MC's going to tell us we got to cut this. We got 5 minutes. You want to,
Do we really?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, why don't we just do rapid recap for today?
Yes. And then we can pick up next week and cover MOVE.
Well, the MOVE program and PERK, for gosh sakes.
Yes. So we'll pick up on that next week. And for the rapid recap, what's your main takeaway, Gayle, from this week?
Knowing what a good VA employee is. Knowing the difference, actually, between somebody who's just there as a job, somebody who is there as a student in a learning process, because, the VA supports like 60% of all medical personnel go through the Veterans Administration at some point during their training. So that's an important thing, but we just need to know that that's what they're doing there, and also who are the regular VA employees.
Absolutely.
And get to know them.
Absolutely. I definitely related to that also. I think my main takeaway is, I like to get all avant-garde with it. I think my main takeaway is that there's a lot of systems and there's a lot of things in place that are actually trying to help. Like all the things we just did enlisted with food insecurity. And
right.
It's having the opportunity to, have Voice of the Veteran here that can also send out and transmit that information, because it's all about the information. So my takeaway is that information matters, right? Getting the information and making sure other people have it can actually save some lives and make sure people aren't starving out there. So that's my main takeaway this week.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah, no, I think, I agree. Well, that's it for this week. Please join us next week when we'll attempt to cover all the subjects that we've uncovered. I mean, it's endless. Next week, maybe we'll also talk about challenge coins and P38s. Who even knows? That's what we talk about. And so that's next Sunday. What's that? The 7th of February,
Yes.
Well, for me, I'm Gayle, Ochiltree Army veteran.
Yeah.
And that guy over there.
I'm Nicholas Cormier III, and TGIF. You know what that stands for, Gayle?
Thank God it's Thursday.
Thank God it's February. It's
Okay.
Thank God it's February. We're going to also cover Black History Month and share some short subject features about veterans and Black History Month.
Black History Month? I didn't realize that.
Gayle, you're the one who said you wanted to make sure we covered Black History Month.
Well, okay. I'm just trying to do the show.
Well, thank you. I celebrate Black History every day. We say
you do. Well, whatever. Okay, join us next week for firsthand veteran experience with Voice of the Veteran.
Hey, see you later. Shout out to G. Thank you, G. We love your support. Thank you for supporting Voice of the Veteran.